Hey guys. So today, coincidentally, we lost power at home. So I figure at least this would be a great opportunity to show kind of like how life is um, here in Kenya, at least in the villages. I don't know in the city how often they lose power, but being here, like in Kendu Bay, in a more rural setting where it's like kind of the village area, we pretty much lose power pretty consistently. Like this whole week, we've pretty much lost power like every evening time frame. So I figured, for those of you who are interested, if you're visiting or just curious, like this is pretty normal, and in terms of like everyday life. So obviously no power. So thankfully, what we use, before back in the day, people would just use candlelight and everything, but now we have LED lights that are battery powered. So we have a bunch of these. We bought on Amazon for like I think like $30, but we find them to be extremely helpful. So you can follow me. We use these, and actually these light up our house pretty well. And pretty much we just kind of have around the house. And the only thing I was gonna say in terms of kitchen wise, if we still haven't eaten dinner, we pretty much have to do a couple things. So sometimes we don't know how long we don't have power. So if we don't know, we try to not open our fridge and freezer. So because of that, then we're trying to make do and making something that we just need our stove for. We have a propane stove. So obviously we're not reliant on power for that. So we just, as long as we have a light, matches, we're good to go to use our stove. Our oven does use power, so it's just pretty much our stove that we use. Obviously no microwave, can't use toaster or anything that plugs in. And so we end up trying to using like things that are not in fridges and freezers. So it ends up being like pasta maybe, or some potatoes, or just like quick maybe ramen or something like that. But something that we can kind of do quickly without opening fridge and freezers, just because some days it may be like 12, 24 hours, and if you open the fridge and freezer, then the food may all spoil and stuff. So we try to avoid that as much as possible. Sometimes like our head of maintenance may know, or someone may know why we have no power, and so we kind of have like a heads up, like, oh, it might be just a short minute of time, so we can just open our fridge and freezer. But if we don't know, we try to avoid that. But thankfully, water still works. So it's like gravity fed. So in terms of pressure wise, we still get water as long as there's water in our tank, and so we still have running water. So that's huge with like flushing toilets. Um, and so I can kind of show you actually if you follow me. We're going to head over to our showers. So we have a couple of these, which is nice that we can use in different parts of our house. This is our bathroom, but for those of you who may not know, typically hot water is not something that you're found often outside of the US and like Europe and stuff. So thankfully, we actually have a water heater, but it is power. I mean, it's based on the power that we have here. So when we have no power, then everything is just cold showers, like the rest of the country, pretty much. And so when you're used to like having hot showers, you know, like our kids, like it's like torture for them because they have to do cold showers and they're used to having hot showers. Especially our youngest, since she's only 3, it really is a chilling experience for her, and she's usually screaming her head off while we're doing the showers. But other than that, you kind of get used to it. And so for us, we're kind of acclimated to the temperature here. So when it's in the evening time, it kind of cools off enough where, it's probably like in the 70s. So it's still pretty cool. So the cold shower is a little bit refreshing to say the least. But at least we still have running water and we can shower worst case scenario. So thankfully we can still shower even though we have no power. But because we have like different like battery powered lights, it's nice because our kids, we don't have to use candles for like a nightlight for them. So we have, generally speaking, usually a nightlight that's battery operated. So even when there's no power, they have a little bit of nightlight for them to use, so they won't be, scared in the evening time frame. But it's kind of nice actually when we have no power because it's pretty quiet. Usually no one has power around us, so it's just quiet. Where at times in the evening, people are playing music or just people are being really loud. And so with no power, no one can make a lot of noise and can't play their music and stuff. So it's kind of quiet. So in ways, it can be nice when we have no power. What's really challenging is when we have no water, and that's really tough. But at least power, it's manageable, and just life continues. So we have no Wi-Fi, obviously, since that's connected to the power. But with our phones, we can still, use data on our cell phones. So if we still need to keep in touch with people or, just like write emails and do stuff for work, for me primarily, I'll just use my phone as a hotspot and I can still work. And the only thing is just making sure I have enough battery. And so we have, different battery packs for phones pretty much that can get us by. And so praise God, like we haven't had a situation yet where like we have no power for a week. So we don't know how that's yet. Like, thankfully it's not that challenging for us yet. Our housing here in the hospital is not connected to the hospital generator, but obviously the hospital is, and I believe the School of Medical Sciences and then Ruby Craft. No, is it Ruby Craft? I'm not 100% sure, but I know the church, School of Medical Sciences, and the hospital, they're actually all connected to the hospital generator. So even when there was no power outage, they can continue to have obviously service in the hospital, church services, and then when they're still in set classes for the nursing and medical clinical officer school as well too. So those are still connected to the generator. But again, thankfully we haven't had periods of where like it's been like a week or two of having no power. And so it's only kind of, usually it's been at most since we've been here, maybe 24 hours, no more than 48 hours. So, we just have to adjust. But that's how life is, especially in a more like rural setting in the villages here in Kenya. And you just adjust. But, there's always silver lining to it. But we wanted to kind of show you how life was, and especially if you're coming to visit. And other than that, hope you're doing well, and we'll see you next time. Bye.